The elevator at the nuclear power plant had never felt so narrow, and Mindy's curvy figure made things even more awkward. The two were pressed tightly together, and with such close contact, Homer's mind ran through every disgusting scenario he could imagine. But he still couldn't resist the temptation.
Think on sexy thoughts, think on sexy thoughts.
Just as things were about to go too far, Homer quickly hit the emergency stop button and pretended it was his floor.
See you tomorrow!
That day, Smithers introduced a new employee named Mindy. No one else paid much attention, but Homer fell for her instantly. To him, Mindy was like a newly born Venus, and that thought scared him enough to run away. After work, Homer pulled out a pen he had stolen from the plant, only to hear Mindy's voice greeting him. He watched as she rode off on her motorcycle. Homer convinced himself that morning was just an accident and that he didn't care about her. After all, he had a wife and kids. He whistled while backing his car up, straight into a sturgeon tank. From then on, Homer started acting strange. When coworkers talked about sports, he'd bring up how amazing Mindy's body was. When they asked him to grab a drink, he'd mention Mindy's motorcycle. That's when Homer realized he might really be in love with her, which sent him spiraling. Barney told him he was just infatuated and suggested he talk to her. Maybe he'd find out they weren't compatible at all. Watching Mindy eat a donut, Homer felt nervous like a schoolboy. He gathered the courage to approach her, but she said she couldn't talk because she was eating. Then Homer noticed she was eating his favorite treat, a double-filling raspberry donut. Before she could finish it, she fell asleep right on the spot, just like Homer often did. Panicking, he blurted out that he hated drinking beer and watching TV. Mindy said that was too bad because that was what made her happiest.
Me too.
Really? I can see I'm gonna love working with you. Well, gotta go. I wanna sneak in a quick nap before lunch.
When Homer got home, he thought he could finally escape Mindy, but Marge had caught a cold and looked completely exhausted. Homer couldn't help feeling put off. Hoping to cheer himself up, he turns to his son, but one touch left his hand greasy. Then Lisa brought him her homemade crispy fish sticks, burnt on the outside, frozen on the inside, leaving Homer stunned. So he decided to sit down and talk with Marge. She excitedly told him about a new store she found that prints photos on t-shirts. She bought one that had her picture printed crooked because it was $2 off. Seeing it only made Homer more frustrated, so he turned on the TV to break the awkward silence. The news was covering Kennedy and Clinton's affairs. He quickly changed the channel to a documentary about fruit flies mating with over 1,000 partners without guilt. He changed again, this time to a women's fitness show, and bolted out of the room. Reason finally hit him. He couldn't keep going like this. He wrote a goodbye note to Mindy on his hand, but when he looked up, she was right there. Sweat blurred the ink, and his words became unreadable. He tried to stumble through an explanation, but before he could finish, Smithers showed up. They had been chosen as representatives for the National Energy Convention. Congratulations, they'd be spending 2 nights at the luxurious Almond Hotel in New York. Mindy was thrilled. Homer, however, was terrified, realizing this could become the biggest marital crisis of his life. The day came quickly. When they entered the room, there was a single double bed. The bellboy mentioned they could... Homer immediately protested that he loved his wife and kids, and that bed was only for eating and sleeping, nothing else. Thankfully, the room actually had 2 double beds with a wall in between. Without that wall, they would have had to share one.
Homer, I got a really wicked idea that could get us into a lot of trouble.
Oh, Mindy, I have to fight our temptation.
No, Homer. Let's do it. Let's call room service!
Homer let out a sigh of relief. Before long, the two were eating a pile of snacks on the bed when only one hot dog remained, something they both loved, and their lips met in a kiss. In that instant, one of Homer's buttons popped open, revealing the image of Marge underneath his shirt. Terrified, he ran out of the room. The day of the energy conference soon arrived. As representatives, Homer and Mindy were supposed to promote the plant, but in truth, they were just passing time. Near the end, the announcer declared the Energy King and Queen of the Year. It was Homer and Mindy. Their prize, a romantic dinner at a fancy Chinese restaurant. After dinner, the waiter brought out 2 fortune cookies. Homer cracked his open, and inside it read,
You will find happiness with a new love. Oh, even the Chinese are against me.
The message shook him to his core.